Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby. And today I'm actually going to be updating my Dark Magician deck profile because I think 4 of you guys were asking for an update recently. And I'm going to showcase you guys my build, the way I play it. You guys know how I do things on the channel. You know, I play the build the way I like to play it. Whether, you know, the card choices are conventional, non-conventional, relevant or acceptable to, other people. I play the way I like to play. So this is the way that I feel the Dark Magician should be played. It does incorporate some cards that came out recently, not too long ago, that kind of help the archetype to be a lot more explosive. Give it a kind of like a pseudo-competitive edge, just to make it a lot more fast-paced. You know, it's a pretty slow deck to begin with, but the tempo has gotten a lot better. And overall, you know, it's a solid deck. I give it like a 6.5 out of 10. And it's kind of like a tier 2.5-ish, tier 3 deck. So let's hop into my build. So starting off, you know, you've got 3 Dank Magicians. This is the start of the deck. I absolutely maximize on this card. I chose 3 different artworks because I like all of these. It's like, first he's doing this, and then he's doing this, and then he's doing that. Like, I just like it. I like it a lot. I'm a huge fan of Yugioh, but my favorite character is actually Kaiba. I'm a Kaiba fanboy, bro. I love Kaiba so much. That's why I've always chose Blue Eyes over Dark Magician, but don't get me wrong. You know, the Euphoria is real, you guys. It really is. He is the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. We all know that's a lie. Now we're going to move forward to Cosmo Brain. So Cosmo Brain is an MVP of the deck. He's really powerful. In fact, he brought this deck over the top. Like I said, if this deck was ever to be considered tier 2.5-ish, it would be because of Brain alone. He allowed the deck to make some turbo plays turn 1 that it couldn't otherwise do. Some plays very similar to what Mermails can do, but just not on the same scale because Mermails have a higher ceiling and have better searchable cards. But yeah, Cosmo Brain is a really good play starter. Sometimes he can be a recovery play. There are niche interactions where he can pop off your circle just so you can get rid of a card and you can just keep pushing, go into an extra deck play, out another card, link climb through your nightmare ladder, and just completely pick a board apart. So yeah, he does have interactions besides going first, but he's really well suited. He's like a fine wine, my brother. Fuego. Then next we have, let's move these back here. Next we have 2 copies of Magician of Dark Illusion. I was a huge fan of it at 3 at first because it does help you to grind, but ultimately it led to so many brick hands, man. I just started to hate drawing the card altogether. And I cut it down to 2, but then there's still times when I draw it and I hate it. But it does pair very well with a lot of your powerful traps. It's fuego, you guys. It really is. It's pretty fire when you're able to resolve it. I just really wish that his name was like Dark Magician at all times, including in the card text, like where it's just like this card's always treated as Dark Magician, because his effect is amazing. And it would be nice to just have a Dark Magician that has an effect, you know? So I wish it was like always Dark Magician at all times. That'd be pretty broken, because I would definitely search this off of Apprentice Illusion, and then I might be able to cut it down to 1. But it's still a really powerful card, has great recovery plays, and, you know, it just helps you to have better interactions on your opponent's turn. And my Apprentice Illusions got sold at Nationals. You guys, I sold a lot at Nationals. I'm still recovering because I sold a lot. I sold like 9 decks. I sold my entire trade binder. I sold pretty much all my extra deck staples, a lot of my main deck staples. I sold 14 or 15 copies of Pot of Desires. I was broke, and I became a broke boy because of my Yu-Gi-Oh channel and trying to get to Nationals. So yeah, I kind of went broke for you guys, not because of you guys, but for you guys. So I had to make comebacks. So yeah, I don't have my Apprentice Illusions right now. I didn't want to proxy them either. Next up, we have Triple Magician's Rod. The recursion in this card is insane, bro. It really is. This card is, it's faithful, man. His Rod is really faithful. Like, this is all you need. You don't need his robe. He already has clothes. He wears the same outfit every day. You just need his Rod, bro. His Rod is incredible. It's like the normal summon of the deck. I wish that you could search this card out. I wish it said Dark Magician's Rod, and then it said this card is always treated as Dark Magician. I feel like this deck would be more incredible if every one of the support cards, like his shadow, that's his shadow, and then his Rod, if they said they were always treated as a Dark Magician. A card like Apprentice Illusion would be incredible, bro. And then your Dark Magical Circle would have a lot more target. That's just my opinion, though. And next up, we have our hand traps. So I play triple Ash Blossom and also double Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries for my hand trap lineup. I wanted to be able to not only play around and under Magical Midbreaker Field, but I also wanted hand traps that yielded the highest 1-for-1 impact, being that like I'm playing one card from my hand and I'm sacrificing this card to try to stop you. And I wanted to play the hand traps where you don't have to pair them or back them up with another hand trap. Cards like Ghost Ogre and Effect Veiler, you know, like it's like even in permanents, like they're good, but normally they're not enough to stop an entire turn. Ash Blossom stops turns. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries kills archetypes in general. So I just think that these are the highest impact hand traps of the format right now, in my opinion. You know, Ghost Spell in Haunted Mansion is incredible too, don't get me wrong. But she really only stops extenders a lot of the times, and there are niche interactions where you're like, oh, I got to stop a Thunder Dragon Fusion. Or, you know, oh, I got to stop like a you know, like a rematch that got searched. Or, you know, I stopped a Call by the Grave. That was, you know, A1. But for me, she's not high enough impact. She doesn't stop turns, but these do. And that's my reason for playing these particular hand traps, because I didn't have enough space in the main deck to play a ton of hand traps, but I wanted to play a decent amount. So that's it for the monster count. Like I already told you what happened to my Magician Illusions, Apprentice Illusion Magicians. And I also played 3 more hand traps in the form of impermanents, but those are, you know, when we get to the traps. But yeah, so we main deck 8 hand traps, and I think that that's good enough. I wanted to play a competitive build for this deck because I feel like you have to try to build Dark Magicians to be competitive, because they're not a competitive deck in the first place. So if you're building a for fun Dark Magician deck, that's fine, but don't be, you know, disappointed with the results that you get with it. And then next for our spells, we're going to start off with Dark Magical Circle. I really love this card a lot. There's something about cards that have longevity that really just intrigues me. It's like I'm gravitated towards cards like this, where the second you play them, they don't just get you some kind of advantage and then go away. You know, this card is always going to generate and accrue some kind of card economy, even if you're just breaking boards. It's an incredible card. I love it, love it, love it. I need to open up with this card or a Rod, or I'll even do my Inheritance play just to get this, because this card is really important. And the Banishing effect is cool. It's cute, but what's more important is being able to set up your draws for Allure of Darkness and Spellbook of Knowledge so that you know what you're drawing. And that's why I like to combo this card off with. So basically, you're able to know exactly what you're going to go into, so you're not blind alluring. And it also can just set you up to where you're getting an Ash Blossom and you know it. So it's really good. Next up, we have Triple Allure of Darkness. Maybe I should move these like this. So yeah, I play Triple Allure. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries is another Allure target, but then you have your Triple Dank Magician, which I'm actually not too... It's not going to hurt me too much to banish them. You have your Rods, you have your Illusion, your Cosmo Brains. You play enough Allure Darkness targets. If a Blue Eyes player plays 8 trade-in targets, come on now, you can definitely play Allure of Darkness in a deck like this, where you have over 8 targets, and they're recurable, and you don't need all 3 of any of them. So yeah, Triple Allure of Darkness. And then next up, we have Double Pot of Desires. I need the +1. It's really important. Yes, I do hate banishing my Dark Magicians, but the way the deck is set up, you know, you can actually play with 1 or 2 Dark Magicians. It's totally fine. And if you're ever in a fear, you know, this is a hindsight play. If you ever have fear that you will banish your Dark Magicians, just don't play the card, you know? But for me, I feel that I wanted this deck to be competitive, and Pot of Desires is a generic +1 that can be used in nearly every deck. And it doesn't kill the strategy, because you also have this thing where you can actually search out your combo pieces first and then play Pot of Desires after. So consistent decks like this are able to get away with the card like that without it hurting them so much. But it is the epitome of high risk, high reward. Next up, we have Double Secrets. So your 2 pots and your 2 secrets are basically +1s of the deck, which is really good. You need +1s because you do commit. In order to go into some of your better combos with your Cosmo Brain, you do have to commit. Cosmo Brain doesn't have a cost where you have to pitch a normal. Naturally, I like to pitch Dark Magician from hand. I don't want to get rid of him off my field. If he's on my field, I want him to stay there. So I normally take a -1 to do my Cosmo Brain play. And we're really take a -2 because you're losing 2 cards out of your hand. And a +1 like that can basically just replenish your entire hand. So yeah, Resource Recursion is really good. Another +1 of the deck is also Illusion Magic. I play 2 Illusions. It's not because I play Pot of Desires, but actually because I love this card's grind game synergy. In the mid to late game, grabbing back 2 Dark Magicians, especially if one of them got banished off an Allure, it just allows you to have more fodder for your navigation, because your navigation has to summon Dark Magician from the hand in the first place. And it also gives you Cosmo Brain food. It just gives you fodder in general. It allows your Dark Magician to dodge targeting effects like Unicorn and Cerebus. You know, effects that would like just completely, just get rid of your Dark Magician. You're able to chain cards like this and force them to miss their targets. Like even if it's like a Titan, or let's say, for example, your board's getting blown up because they killed your Eternal Soul and you had no way to stop that, you can chain Illusion Magic and plus off of your Dark Magician before your board gets wiped. So I just really like the card. I've explained a few interactions, but there's actually a lot of interactions that this card's been a very, very huge help to me and a benefit in playing with it. So I really like it at 2 and not 1, even though it's searchable. I already know that. We have double Dark Magic Inheritance. This card is really insane. It's like a rod that's not on legs, and I really like the interactions that I have with this card as well, because it is chainable. It allows you to just net additional searches, because with this deck, this is a deck that requires a setup. It really does. Cards like Secrets and Allure Darkness, and Pot and stuff like that, load your grave up for this to be live. But this deck requires a setup ultimately. You want Soul in circle every turn 1 with a Dark Magician somewhere in rotation. So you do your full board, you do your full Tomahawk combo, you do a U board with it, you extra link your opponent. Depending on how your hand looked like, you can extra link your opponent and the resources that you had. And then after you extra link, you still want a setup of Eternal Soul and Circle. I prefer Soul over Navigation, even though Soul has a drawback. Naturally, you'll have Service to protect your board from being destroyed in the first place. Only thing that will go is Dark Magician, but then again, you'll lose a Magic him. So yeah, I really like being able to search my setup of Soul and Circle and still have my juicy fat board that I got off of my Tomahawk play. And this really helps because one rod does not get you both Circle and Soul. You can only get one off of him, but having this also allows you to just set up a lot easier. And that's why I play it at 2, because I actually would like to open up with this card. Like, if I have Spellbook of Secrets and this, I'm probably going to be able to resolve this, which is really good. And speaking of the Secrets, I play 1 Knowledge, not because I prefer that, but just because I only have 1 Knowledge. I have to sell a lot of cards and buy a lot of cards. It's just an in and out thing with me. And it's not because I choose to. It's because I have a YouTube channel that has a lot of subscribers that all ask me for stuff. And I hate to say no because I really want to make you guys happy. And I take a lot of negs for you guys. I take a lot of minuses just for my subscribers. And then we have 1 Dark Magic Attack. I really like Dark Magic Attack. It's a high impact card. It's naturally can be a 1 for 4, a 1 for 5, a 1 for 3. Altergeist matchup, easy peasy. This is why I love Eternal Soul. And I prefer to set up with Soul because if I happen to be playing an Altergeist matchup or a Paleo matchup or a Sky Striker matchup, being able to trigger my Eternal Soul and search out my Dark Magic Attack is just going to allow me, it's just going to allow it to be a blowout. Once you resolve that Dark Magic Attack, clear the back row. They probably got set off of, the, what's the continuous card? The, what's multi-roll? If they got set off a multi-roll, you're basically just banishing them all. If it's Altergeist, you're just clearing all their back row. Even if they already resolve multi-figure, the rest of their back row is gone. That's history. Dark Magic Attack is just amazing. You have 1 Dark Magic Expanded. This card is a lot better than Magna Dragon. Magna Dragon is pretty much a brick unless you have Apprentice Illusion. That's why I don't like that card. I hate situational cards. Magna Dragon's cute. You need it engraved, and it has to be in a certain scenario when it happens, like with the Eternal Soul play. If they hit your soul, that's cute and all. But I hate situational cards, and I want every card that I draw to have some sort of, not necessarily like a progression, but I don't want them to be an impediment or a detriment to my resource game. I don't want to draw blanks or dead cards or bricks. And I like this over Magna Dragon because it fixes the same problem. What it does is basically it has 3 effects. One is to give a Dark Spellcaster 1,000 attack. The other one, which I like a lot, is basically this turn, your opponent cannot respond. They cannot negate the activation or respond to your activation of your spells and traps. And also, all spells and traps you control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, which is really cool. So it protects your Eternal Soul from being, hit by anything. And all your back row is safe from Twin Twisters and stuff like that. Evenly matches a different story. Third effect makes all Dark Spellcasters unaffected by any card effects at all. And they also, I think they can't be destroyed by battle either. I'm not sure, but I know that they're unaffected by card effects. I should just read the third one, huh? Yep, they're unaffected by card effects, which is pretty broken. I mean, don't get me wrong, with Eternal Soul, your Dark Magician's already practically invincible. But I like having a chainable pseudo Eternal Soul for all Dark Spellcasters and not just Dark Magician. So your Illusion, your Rod, your Apprentice. If you go into a card like Ebon Illusion, that card's safe. Any Dark Spellcasters that you make are going to be safe, including Wee Witch's Apprentice, because I believe that she is a spellcaster as well, if you want to play that card. So that's it for the spells. You've got your 3 one-ups. I don't really, I mean, don't get me wrong, Monster Reborn's cool and so is Soul Charge, but I don't really like how often I bricked with them. I know people wouldn't even believe that you could brick with those kind of cards, but for me, like, I've bricked with those a lot. Like, Dark Magician is not the kind of deck that loads the grave turn 1, and it's a rare occasion when you actually need cards like that. And luckily, the archetype already has built-in searchable cards that do the exact same thing. But I've just never really had good luck with like Monster Reborn and Soul Charge. I don't know why, but yeah, if you're wondering why I don't play them, it's because legitimately through experience of playing with the deck, especially when Monster Reborn came back, and this is my Euphoric Yu-Gi-Oh deck, it just kept breaking for me. And starting with the traps, we have triple infinite impermanence. So impermanence is really good with this kind of deck because 2-for-1s are really powerful. And I like impermanence because it's something that this deck really needed. It's like, it's not just the effect negation, but it's the ability to play around back rows, because this deck can have a really difficult and hard time playing into back rows. And to be able to just cut back row columns off, I just find that that's really impressive. And I like having another hand trap that's not actually a monster so that this can't be called by the grave. I know that most people already know that that's common sense, but there's just a lot of high value that you get out of a card like this in this kind of archetype. And setting it as a trap with the rest of your back row kind of just masks it. And while your opponent can anticipate that you may play impermanence, they can't know until you flip it. And then we have triple Solemn Strike. This trap is so OP. There was a point in time when Magispectors still had their curing and Metal Foes were popping that I thought Strike was going to be banned. But they never hit it. This card is ridiculous, this format. It's so good. Any deck that can get away with playing Solemn Strike in a comfortable way should definitely play it, because this card is insane. It's such a beneficial Crutemont. It's like almost like it should be a staple, but not every deck can play it. And then there's in-a-match procedures. There's so many things that factor into it not being a universal every deck staple. Then we have triple Eternal Soul. I am a huge advocate of Eternal Soul. I know Ed likes his navigations, and that's cute. And navigation is cool. It does get you damage on board. It does act as a negation on the follow-up. But remember what I was saying about Circle. I like cards with longevity where, you know, they don't just do what they do and then leave the field, you know. I like Soul because it has longevity. You can net a lot of pluses off of it. You get a lot of recursion. It's just such a powerful card. It helps you to grind. It helps you to provide spot removal, triggering your Circle. And in general, it's just a really strong card. And it provides protection for all your Dark Magicians. And then we have triple navigation. I play 3-ofs on all my traps, not only because I play Pot of Desires, but because I actually want to open up with more than one of these. Like any of them. The only one that I don't want to open doubles of is probably Eternal Soul. But I play the risk of opening with that just because this card's too good. If it gets hit, I want to search another one because I hate Magna Dragon, don't think the card's good. And I also don't want to banish all of them off of Desires. So yeah, and the navigation is pretty aggressive. It helps you. If you are in a position where you know that you can OTK and your opponent cannot kill you this turn, you can flip a navigation to get the damage on board that you need to proceed to OTK them. So yeah, we played 12 traps, the 6 negators, and then the 6, basically the 6 utility cards that set up your board better. Extra deck, we have 1 Firewall and 1 Gumblar. These are naturally part of your Tomahawk combo. It's really the only way that you're going to be making these. And then we have 1 Unicorn, 1 Trigate. These are the 2 Link 4s and the 2 Link 3s. And then Topologic Bomber is an option because it does have synergy with Eternal Soul, Navigation, and the Dark Magical Circle. But also at the same time, I felt that whenever I'm going into Tomahawk and have the resources to make Topologic, I always felt that it was a lot more beneficial to Gumblar them and to, you know, U-board them and set up a Trigate versus having like a potential, you know, Topologic that can hit or miss still. And then we have Double Cerberus and Double Phoenix. I double up on these. They're pairs in any deck that I'm trying to set up a U-board with. And then we have Proxy. It's better than binary sources because you're linking with tokens in this deck. Then we have the Mermaid. That's it for links. Now we have Tomahawk, Ebon High, Red Ice Flare Metal Dragon. And I don't have my Ebon Illusions anymore. Those were pretty pricey, and that's why I sold them at Nationals as well. But I'd probably play 1 Ebon Illusion and 1 Ebon High. I actually still am a huge fan of Ebon High because you can actually play your strikes from your hand with this. It helps to play around Twin Twister and Evenly Matched. And it has removal that doesn't target, which is really important because Circle has to target. Whereas this card can outstuff and get you free summons, which is really powerful without targeting. So yeah, I really like the card a lot. Then Firewall is one of my main cherry targets because this deck struggles against Gokis and Dark Warrior decks. But also I play Hexia because Altergeist matchup is horrible. Paleo matchup is pretty tough too. And if I had Sky Striker Ace Kagari, I'd probably play that too. But I just find that these alone are good enough Cherries targets for right now. And really, like, the main problem is, you know, Gokis and Dark Warriors. You know, with Sky Strikers, like, taking away their Kagari doesn't always kill them in the first place. And it doesn't always mean that you're going to win at the end. It might just make it easier. But yeah, I still need, like, 2 more Cherries target, the Kagari, and then I'm debating on the final one. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the extra deck. It's nearly complete. And I really just wanted to refine this and update it again because, like I said, my subs, whenever they ask me for something, if it's in my power and it's not too difficult for me to do, I will do it. For the most part, I try my hardest to please every sub individually. But if your channel has, you know, like over 500 subs, it becomes so difficult because each individual person at some point always wants something from you, and it's your job to deliver. You know, as a content creator, it is your job to deliver. It's almost like you are supposed to. There shouldn't be a choice in the matter, and that's just me. But whenever I can, I try. You know, thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. I definitely do appreciate all the love that you guys show to me. I really do. I love you guys. God bless you. Make good choices and don't hurt your brain cells. Definitely stay tuned for future content. I have a lot coming for you. Some honorable mentions go to Endymion, the Master Magician, because I love this card. And I naturally played in almost all of my Dark Magician lists. There were 5 Dark Magician lists that this card didn't make the cut. But I love this as a navigation target. It's really good. Also, honorable mention goes out to Mass Change the Second and Dark Law, because I considered playing a Mass Change the Second engine with Dark Law so that I can have more interactions on my opponent's turn. I can go Soul Circle, bam, summon, banish, and then flip a Mass Change, summon a Dark Law, and just make it even more difficult. And it allows me to be more aggressive too. So yeah, those are some honorable mentions and shoutouts and some cards that you can consider playing. There's a lot of ways you can play Dark Magician. You can even do Secret Village and Spellcasters. You can play other traps like Rivalry and Gozen. Unless you're playing a Tomahawk Turbo, all your monsters are going to be Dark Spellcasters. So Rivalry, Gozen's, you know, that's a way. You can play a Demise Stun build. There's so many ways you can play this deck. Like, trust me, this build is not anything special. You know, it's just the way that I want to play the deck. And in my mind, it's special. But you know, there's a lot of people that play Dark Magician, and this is, you know, it's just another one of the ways that you can play this deck. It's pretty flexible. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I think that I'm gonna be able to do maybe one more video, and that will have me set up for all of next week's schedule, so that way I have time to create more ideas, think of what I'm gonna do next, and also I have time to just get some rest, because the most sleep I've gotten this week was 4.5 hours, and that really sucked because my head hurts a lot because I don't sleep. But thank you guys so much, and peace.